All right. Looks like we're live, Timmy.
Yes. Have a good Saturday, everyone. I'm having a great start to my weekend. Meow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. How you doing, man? How's the virtual cat life?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I've got a couple humans that live with me, and they've been getting outside a little bit more. It's starting to warm up over here, so they've taken me for a walk. And I hear a little bit of an echo there. But they're taking me for a walk, and I do like to get outside now that it's starting to warm up over here. Love the park, love the lake, but I'm afraid of those doggos. Actually, there's a neighbor here. This giant golden retriever keeps trying to bully me a little bit, so that's causing a little bit of stress in my life. But otherwise, I'm doing pretty good.
Dude, that's
Eh,
good to hear.
Yep. J Crypto, are you more of a dog person or a cat person? Would you say?
Oh yeah, dude. I hate cats. I think that they're the scum of the earth. I think that they're the biggest trolls. No, I'm just joking.
This
I
guy.
actually grew up with cats, Timmy, and I just tweeted that link out too, so
Oh
we'll get
wow.
people to fill out. So that's good to know that it's going live on my channel. But I love all animals. Um, I'm kind of like, pretty, unemotional when it comes to animals. I think animals just kind of like me usually. So, but I kind of feel like they're really smart a lot of the time. Like I feel like we don't give animals credit. So to be fair to you, I mean, look at what you're doing here. You're able to create an entire crypto show. And sometimes we look at these animals and we're just like, oh, they're just our pets and whatever. But it's really amazing watching cats like you and other animals I've seen pop up in the NFT ecosystem, starting their own projects and things of that nature. It's really amazing. So I do think that we have things to learn. I think monks that did kung fu would they made all their kung fu moves after watching animals, like watching how birds flew. They or the crane, I think, is like a Karate Kid move, by watching the crane how it moves.
Oh wow.
So I think that we actually, as humans, as you say, have stuff to learn from the animal kingdom. Big
All
time.
right. Just got the tweet out on my side as well, so we're all good. Yes, Daniel-san. You're thinking about Daniel-san, wax on, wax off. I've seen the Karate Kid, the original movie, but I haven't seen. I think there's a new TV show, right? And some my dad is sometimes watching it on Netflix, but uh, I'm not sure. Is it any good? Have you checked out the Karate Kid TV show?
Oh, I didn't even know that they had one, but now I'll definitely have to take a look at least. I mean, anything Karate Kid, I feel like there's a lot to be said for that kind of wisdom from somebody like a Mr. Miyagi type figure in people's lives. So yeah.
Well, I'm just taking a look at some of the chats. We got Nikki in here. Big shout out to Nikki. She's a bit of a Cardano power person. She's like,
Mahalo to Nikki, by the way, because she said aloha. So in case she's from Hawaii, I just wanted to shout her out and say mahalo.
mahalo. What does that mean?
It's like a way to be gracious, say thank you, things of that nature.
Oh wow, very cool. Yeah, yeah. She's a bit of a power user, a person like with a lot of influence in Cardano systems. She's the one who got me involved in some Hosky stuff and the vending machine. And so, mad shout out. If you're not following Nikki yet, Nikki, maybe throw your Twitter in
Goodbye.
the live chat because she's always got a bunch of like really good info. And then I also saw I wanted to bring up a chat from CM. Holy cow, 5 cats. I absolutely love it, my friend. Very,
Mhm.
very cool. We got a really big cat lover here. So big shout out to CM.
I can actually relate to that, Timmy. My mom brought home a pregnant cat when I was a child, and that cat ended up having about 6 kittens.
Whoa.
So we went through the process of raising six little kittens for about 2 years, and then there was a couple that we just ended up, I think, selling or not even sell. I don't know what my mom did. I was just a kid. I think she just gave them away. But there's a couple that she still has to this day. So yeah, it's good to have a bunch of cats.
Very cool. So what's the plan today? My friend Tim from Shelterplatz here. Stick with Tim One. Yes, I have a big Tim One update on Monday. So you're gonna want to check that out. We got a lot more rewards coming. But yeah, Tim, maybe or J Crypto, maybe walk us through the plan today.
Yeah, so we got a great show, I think, for the people today, especially in the Cardano community, because we're going to be starting out with a story that Timmy's leading, which is Metaplanes, and I
Hmm.
think Meta, it's a huge buzzword right now. It's a huge topic right now, but I think it gets diluted in its meaning, and it's fun to see how Metaplanes is using it and what kind of project they're going to be. They're sponsoring the show today. We also have another, so huge thanks to Metaplanes. We're excited to cover them. We also have another story on Indigo that I'm going to lead because I just think synthetic assets are so freaking cool, man. I'm excited to talk about that and hear what you think too, Timmy, on that.
Yeah.
And then I'm leading a story on the minions who I have a funny story about the minions. They were on my radar a bit back, and I found out why after doing research. They're also sponsoring the show today, so huge shout out to them. I like the angle that they're coming at things with kind of that 3D asset vibe, so it'll be fun to cover them. And then I think at the end, you're gonna kind of update us on Minswap and what's been going on with Minswap as we're entering potentially DeFi spring, is what I've been hearing people call it.
You
Well,
got it.
I've been calling it that. I don't know if people have been, but
Yeah.
I think it's true though. I think we are entering a little bit of a DeFi spring and lots of fun in between. We might see Timmy glitch and fly out of his seat. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm excited for.
That's an awesome rundown. I think you hit all the main points. As you said, Metaplanes, then Indigo, then we've got ADA Minions and Minswap at the end. So 2 NFT projects and 2 DeFi projects, 2 DEX kind of related DeFi projects today. So that's what you can kind of expect, I think, from the Gauntlet moving forward. Not only NFTs, but getting into DeFi, as Jay Crypto said, we see a bit of a transition now where a lot of new dexes are launching. A lot of dexes are waiting for June. In June, hard fork, there's going to be a new Cardano improvement. It's called CIP 33, SIP 33. And this is going to let the scripts and the dexes do a lot more. Basically, they're going to be able to save a lot of their block size and have more efficient transactions. And so there's a few projects that are actually waiting to launch in June. And so I think you're right. I think DeFi spring, DeFi summer is probably what it's going to look like for the next 7 or 8 months. You're probably going to see a lot of DeFi and DEX projects, and so yeah, definitely tune into the Gauntlet to make sure you know what's happening in that space as well.
Timmy, what's the gauntlet? What do we prep our new users or viewers to experience here? What are we looking for from the community? What's the feedback either post live so you can still comment your feedback on when we post these onto our channels or during the stream?
Yeah, I think both are okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Gauntlet, like in the live chat or also in the comments. I'm also curious what the rest of the Cardano community is feeling. Like, um, what
Hmm.
what are people excited about? Let us know. Like, are you excited about a particular NFT project, or are you actually starting to get more excited for some of these DeFi's and DEXs? I'm curious to know what the rest of the Cardano community is excited about. So let us know in the live chat or in the comments. Because Jay Crypto and I feel like we're sensing a trend shift, and we just want to
We're
see
early
if
to it though, I
a
think.
little early to it. Yep,
3 months.
and it's
Yeah.
and it's happened before. Like we've, big crypto, Bitboy Crypto, and like a lot of like more general YouTubers outside of Cardano talk about how, yeah, there's cycles between, play to earn gaming and then maybe NFTs and then maybe DEXs and then maybe layer ones. So everyone's talking about different blockchains and then coming back to NFTs. It's a cycle. And so, NFTs have been really, really hot, I think, since November. Pavia came out end of October, and I think Pavia really kicked off this kind of new cycle of NFT fever. And then you had a bunch in November, December, January, and I think now all those metaverses are kind of heads down mode. They've done their sales, they've sold a ton of plots, and now
Mhm.
it's time to build. So let's let the NFT teams kind of be focused on building. We don't need to pull them into live, Twitter spaces every day. Let them build, and and we'll get excited about the DeFis and the DEXs for the next couple months,
because
and
they've
then we'll
been
come
building.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
been building, and like you said, the SIP 33 is going to be huge. I noticed that a lot of these protocols in the DeFi Alliance, they're mentioning things like quarter 3 and quarter 2 to maybe do a test in mainnet, and that's really exciting. We have a few protocols that are on mainnet, and that's really exciting. So it's going to be fun to kind of start to cover and unveil all the potential that that stuff has, since they've already kind of built their
Yeah,
products. Now it's the
yeah.
feedback slash consumer use case kind of phase, and it's a really fun thing is DeFi. I remember kicking off DeFi with things like Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, and it can be really fun. I think Cardano has a lot of innovative um, solutions and features that you won't see on other blockchains too. So I'm excited to see that play out.
Well, we got a ton of project suggestions here in the chat, J Crypto. People responding to what you're talking
Block
about.
Owls, sick
Block,
projects. I need to
yeah,
get
yeah.
one. I need to freaking get one. Those things are so cool. Timmy, you put me on those really early, by the
The
way.
block owls, yeah. The
Yeah,
block owls are
you
super,
were
super nice.
you called that one, man.
The founder has an animation studio, and so you can see that like they're really, really high quality. Someone else, I like the way he described it. Where is there's another block owls comment here. Um, I can't hear this one. So a lot of Block Owls fans in the chat. They are Purina, and we do love our Purina, our dog and cat chow. So I really love this phrasing here for Block Owls. I'm a big fan. They have a big mint happening right now. So definitely check out Block Owls if you're looking to get into another NFT project. And a bunch of dexes just got mentioned as well, J Crypto.
All
We've
that
got like Maladex here. This person, Gabe. Gabe is really on top
nowadays.
of it, Gabe. It's great to see you here. You're talking
Yeah,
about the
Gabe,
best projects.
dude, Gabe is on. He's in my community too. He's in yours. It sounds like so. He's everywhere. I see this guy commenting on most of my videos. So I really appreciate those insights. By the way, Gabe.
Yeah, he's talking about here Genius Yield, which is something I'm a big fan of, and then Maladex, and then I saw a couple other dexes being mentioned, Ardana. Now I think Ardana might be the one. It's either Ardana or Liquid, who said they're waiting for the June hard fork, and so I'm excited for both of those. What's that, J
Isn't
Crypto?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Ardana, which I didn't know, is actually gonna be they're creating a stable coin. So unlike JED token, this is gonna be, I think, a more traditional stable coin
Yeah,
than an algorithmic stable coin, which is
that's right.
so big for Cardano.
Yeah, a lot of people are. It's interesting. A lot of people are on the fence about algorithmic stablecoins,
I
and
don't
so
blame them. It's a big challenge. It's a
is it?
big challenge. Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I watched your
It is
video,
so
J Crypto. I mean, you did an amazing video a few days ago talking about the JED stablecoin and like kind
big.
of reserve coins and how it's all going to work. And it sounds really, really complicated. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see why some people are just kind of a little hesitant. And I think it would be great for Cardano to have an algorithmic one in JED and then another kind of more traditional one with Ardana.
I would flip it and even say I think that there's potential for Cardano to be to lead the way with the first out like successful algorithmic stable coin. I think with JED, the only thing that I kind of don't like personally is that you have to be an accredited investor to buy the RCs,
Oh,
which
wow.
which is really interesting. But I think that there's going to be other implementations because of the academic research that Cardano has inside of its dev teams and community through
Yeah.
people like yeah, I know TCT is excited about a few implementations that will be maybe more to open that feature up to the community in a similar way with an algorithmic stablecoin. But I think that there's not going to be one winner. I think there's going to be a lot of tests, and we're going to see maybe something really cool come out of those tests.
Wow, that's interesting. I think you could be right. It's a really good point you make about the reserve coins. It's kind of the first time we're seeing that. So there'll also be some KYC there as well, I imagine. So that'll be interesting to see, like how they're going to know if you're an accredited investor or not. There's going to have to be some disclosure, right? So
With Jed, but I
yeah,
want to buy, RCs, and I'm sure other people do
yep,
with a successful algorithmic stablecoin. So they're only doing that to make it more stable, which I totally understand because, to get accredited investors, they know the game. They're not going to, pull out at a bump in the road. So I understand it, but I would like to see that open source a little bit more to the community. I think the code is open source. It's just that one
Oh,
feature
wow.
RC is you
Got
gotta be
it.
an accredited investor for coding.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Open source code, that's pretty good. I didn't know they were doing that. That's awesome.
I think they are, I think. But yeah,
Okay, cool.
get an update.
And, just an update here from Gabe again. It sounds like Block Owl is sold out. So,
That was
not
quick.
incredibly surprised. It's a beautiful project. They're like a totally, separate tier of art quality and animation quality. But an update from Gabe there. Very cool.
Hmm.
Well, what do you think? Should we maybe jump in? Anything else to talk about first? I'm not sure if you know about CNETA. I saw this here from CM. I've
Um,
seen the name, but I need to get caught up because
Me
I've
too.
started to see CNETA on Twitter. CM, I'd love to know what you know about it if there's an easy way to throw it into the live chat. But
Hmm.
yeah, I've seen CNETA's name pop up in a few Twitter places and spaces,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure what it is yet.
Yeah, the only other thing I would add before we begin then, Timmy, is I got some beef with you, man. You threw you kind of you showed up. For people that know, they know. And if you don't know, just go to my Twitter and check out the tweets. But so basically there was a blimp. I was trying to drop off some of Frog Dog's 3D assets. Timmy, a virtual cat, shows up and hijacks the blimp. He's got about 20 povs rolling up with him. I don't know how you teamed up with the povs, and you kind of hijacked the blimp from me. And then you told everyone on Twitter that it was the other way around, that I threw you in the cargo and that tied you up. So I just, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna vent it out right here now.
Bend it up. Hey man, it says, Twitter's truth, right? So, the people can judge for themselves what happened on Twitter. A little bit of drama last night with J Crypto. Everyone, you can see everyone, Nito, Pavia Raffle House, everyone is on the same page here. J Crypto hijacked the blimp.
Well, I think the
Has been
narrative is shifting a little bit. I think it's
Well, I don't
actually,
know.
I
I
think
think
the truth is starting to
there
come
might be a
out a little bit.
disinformation campaign
I think,
happening, a
yeah,
little bit of J
you're
Crypto
great at that, Timmy.
propaganda.
You're great at the disinformation, man. Yeah.
Well, I think we should trust our gut. The original story is probably the most accurate.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So just scroll back, see who was in that first, and then see who hopped on and try to
All right.
get the narrative.
All right, my friend. So let's go ahead and jump in. I think let's get started with Metaplanes, and big shout out to Metaplanes. They're one of our main sponsors today,
Mm.
and there's actually a pretty good reason why they're like looking to be on the show today. They have a ton of updates that they've been doing lately, and their mint is almost done. Like there's less than 10% left to mint. They have a whole new collection coming up, and actually they're starting to like get more of a profile, and so I think it could potentially be sold out really really soon. In fact, Metaplanes is in a Twitter space right now. As we're doing this video, they're in a separate Twitter space with Ada Punks, and they've done a ton of collaborations. And so I want to walk you guys through Metaplanes, tell you why I'm excited about it. It's a pretty unique project, and so let's go ahead and do that. Would you want to say something super quickly before I jump in, J Crypto?
I'm actually pretty excited for this because I looked at them too, Timmy, and it was really interesting. I want to hear kind of, it looks like a unique project, like you said. So I'm excited to kind of just provide some commentary. But I think both Metaplanes and Ada Minions are kind of unique in a few ways. So it's gonna be fun to kind of break that down.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so let's jump in. And so this is their Twitter. Actually, I think I'll make you small, J Crypto. Oh no, it's only gonna make me small, maybe.
Yeah,
Um
I'll go small for you, man. It's all good. Just
I don't think you'll be able to without rejoining. So we might have to just do it like this. Let me see. Doo, doo, doo. Yeah, I don't think it'll work while you're here unless you refreshed. But that's okay. I think the way the software works is like the last person who joined is the one who's able to like take over.
okay.
So
You want me
yeah,
to try that to refresh real quick and see?
yeah, let's give that a shot maybe just so they can see it a little better.
Okay.
All right. We'll give him a minute to jump in. There we go. All set. Thank you, Jay Crypto, my
Good talking
man.
to me.
You know, humans are dogs are a human's best friend, but this human is my best friend. And so big shout out to Jay Crypto. I appreciate you. Much love. So
Hey,
this
it's
is the
good to
meta
see you, Timmy.
this is the Metaplanes Twitter page right here at Metaplanes NFT. And you can see here that they're minting now. But let me tell you, it's going pretty fast. I'll show you how many they have left, and you'll see what I mean. Their website is metaplanes.art. So it's a different domain. So just a heads up on that, metaplanes.art. And I think I'll take you to there right now. So when you land on their page, the first thing you'll see is this kind of bluish logo, and this is kind of a really creative logo. You're going to see it all throughout their project. They use it in a few places. And one of the things I love about it is Cardano is front and center.
Mm,
They've actually got a coin, a token we'll talk about, and there as well, the Cardano logo is front and center. So big shout out to Metaplanes kind of for representing Cardano that way. And then when you come to their website, before we get into the mint details, I'm actually going to scroll down and just tell you a little bit about the project. So as it says here, it's a collection of planes created with pixel art. And I'm
mm.
just not sure we've ever seen this before, J Crypto. And I'm not sure I've seen this on Ethereum or Solana, a pixel art plane based project. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Yeah, this might be like a true original. And it's I mean, you could maybe call it a PFP like profile photo project, but it's not really because it's not an animal. It's like totally unique. And you can see like he's done a lot of really cool art here with not just the planes, but the backgrounds, right? So many different
Mm,
styles of backgrounds. I think this is the Singapore Towers here. If you've ever visited Singapore, this is like a real life building where you can actually walk on the roof from building to building, and the plane is up here above it. Super psychedelic like design there. And then he's got this ice plane here. So this plane is actually in space. You see the Sydney Opera House down here. Did you catch that? So these white sails. What's that?
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a landmark. It's a historical landmark.
Yeah.
It's really cool how they've done this.
Yeah, and a lot of people are just looking at this and thinking, "Oh, well, it's just a plane, it's just a plane." But actually, if you zoom in, there's a lot more happening in this
Mm,
art. There's a Sydney Opera House, there's planets, and this is an ice plane. And he's actually just recently done a big giveaway for people who mint the next ice plane. And so what he's been doing is there's like different themes, different kind of sets, and if you mint one from that set, you have a chance to get a free airdrop or like a free giveaway. So that's been pretty fun to watch in their Discord. What's it? Any of these planes stand out to you, J Crypto? Anything here? There's a Paris one there. Look at that.
I like
Anything here?
the yeah, I was just gonna ask if you can zoom in on the one with the it looks like there's some coding in the background or some matrix action going on a couple of these, like
Oh, this one
the
here.
Ethereum one too. Yeah, that one looks like there's almost a little bit of
Wow.
either hacking or Matrix-esque. I kinda like that. I mean, I didn't wanna say the ice plane, but I like the ice plane because this is like it's weird, right? NFTs are strange because sometimes as a collector, especially if we have metaverse houses, I look at these and I'm like, "Dang, I want one," you know?
Yeah.
Just so I
Yeah.
can, like, have it as, like, a little, thing in the metaverse house, and I think I was never an art collector, but now I'm becoming one by being in this industry because I'm thinking, okay, this would be really fun to have or use, or if I get like a nano, frame to display NFTs, it'd be just kind of like a cool piece of art just to have.
Nano
It's pretty
frames.
sick too. Look at
Wow. Big
that.
shout out there.
The elephant in the bottom as yeah, I'm waiting on my nano right now. Actually, I'm excited to get it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that'll
I'm
be
super
fun.
excited about nano frames. I actually hope in the next few weeks on the Gauntlet, we might be able to talk about a nano frames adjacent project. I can't say anything about it right now. As far as I know,
Wow.
it's still in stealth, but there's some pretty cool stuff happening. So keep your eye on nano frames and that whole space
Yes.
because
That's
I'm super excited about it and it's just getting started. Um, so yeah, I totally agree. A lot of creativity with these, and I like how there's some shout outs to some of the other layer one blockchains, right? You've got Bitcoin here. We saw the Ethereum one earlier. So very cool. I could see interesting from Weird Woodsy, big fan of nanoframes here.
oh,
Um,
Weird Woodsy's in the house. I love Weird Woodsy.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's a legend. Absolute legend. let's take a look at their roadmap quickly. But you can find this on their website, so I won't go into too much detail. But there's a few things I want to show you here, J Crypto. You're a big fan of utility, and they've got a ton of utility happening on here, and
Hmm.
I think they're going to be able to pull it off. It's pretty achievable. I think they're not trying to build their own metaverse. It looks like they're going to integrate with some. And let's jump in first. The first thing is they've been doing a ton of collaborations. So to help with PR and promo, they've got collaborations with everybody. Crocs Club. They've got Lazy Llamas. They've got a whole bunch. I'm going to walk you through them in their Discord. So I love the partnership kind of ethos. Like they're open. They're bringing others in. It's kind of like a very friendly approach to their project. Not kind of no ego or anything like that. So big shout out for that. And then they've also got staking that's going to be happening. So as I mentioned, they have their own coin, and the idea is you're going to be able to stake your planes and get these coins and these tokens as rewards, which is super super cool. So there's staking utility coming to this project. A house token and tokenomics are going to be released in Q2. Another thing is they're going to airdrop a bunch of their token to people who hold some of these original planes. So these OGs, people that are original and have leveled up in their Discord, and if you've purchased a plane and verified your purchase in their Discord, you have a chance to get airdropped tokens. And then, of course, you're going to get it registered on all the exchanges, Muesli Swap, they'll go for Sunday Swap and all of those as well. So that's kind of Q2. But then as well, check this out. This is the real highlight, J Crypto. In Q3, I saw this bullet point. Initial process of 3D rendering and programming of G1 metaplanes. Now, I'm all about the 3D. I'm all about the rendering and animating. It looks like they're going to maybe create a 3D model of their plane that could come into all the metaverses. And so their plan is to maybe have the plane in metaverses. And let me ask you, have you heard of any metaverse, J Crypto, that might have an airport? I wonder.
That
Is
was
there a
kind of yeah. So yes. Yes, I have.
Yes. Pavia is rumored to have an airport. Now we don't know, but in the eastern corner, the eastern side of Pavia, there's this long black strip, and
Mhm.
and a lot of speculation has been happening that there might be an airport there. Now on the left side, there's a launch pad, so you can imagine some space rockets launching from there. But if that is indeed an airplane on the right side, and this is dubious speculation to be sure, but if there is a Pavia airport, then you could imagine these 3D metaplanes being the first ones there. And so I'm pretty excited if they can pull that off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this brings up an important point, right? The it's it's speculation right now. What the question that I want to ask the audience and let us know what you think is if Pavia has an airport, what would the use case of that airport be?
Yeah.
Because if you have a 3D rendered plane that you could almost rent out that goes from point A to point B, why would somebody want to travel with the airport instead of, just teleport, right? What would be the framework that would create a successful airport implementation to have it make sense in the metaverse and provide utility and not just be like some, random thing? It'd be something I'd be curious to hear what our audience thinks because I've been speculating that we know Pavia does nothing without a purpose. So it would be interesting what their plan would be. I've had some thoughts on it, which, I'll share as we get closer to maybe them announcing that, but it would be really fun to hear what other people think too.
So you heard it here, folks. You heard it here. It's not an airport. Now, J Crypto is a Pavia insider, so he has officially let us
No,
know
no, no,
on
that's
the
not
record.
that's just
The
see
Pavia team has let us know.
disinformation. Let me just put the points to the chat here.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Disinformation. Fake news.
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
privileged information. So actually, so it could be an airport. J Crypto raises an excellent question though. How would you actually use it? I think like jetpacks would be maybe a little bit cooler, kind of independent moving. And here's the other question. Uh, there's only one of these airports that are speculated, but to go anywhere, you need two airports. So like if you took off from the airport, where would you land? Because there's no airport on the left side, and so I think you're right. It's probably not an airport unless it's going to take you off the map. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say Horizon Worlds, you allow the creators to build virtual environments, but it's not linked to the actual like Horizon World Central Plaza.
Yep.
So I could see a play where there's maybe a license, system or tiered system where you can create something in Pavia, not in the actual Pavia world, but maybe in outer space or something, and it won't have the same traffic or visibility as if you own a plot. But why not leverage the tech and allow people to still make? And then if you go to the airport, you can then travel to some other worlds. So that way, users that don't have plots can still maybe, make some kind of event outside of the whole ethos.
Yep.
I'm thinking that might be something, but we don't really know. And then interoperability, obviously. I mean, there's portals. So I don't know if the airport would make most sense for that.
Well, you asked for the community to give you their thoughts, and they have, J Crypto. Truck Truckdono says, "Is there a seaplane? There's lots of water in Pavia."
Mhm.
So that's a good
Yeah.
point. Potentially, I could fly out of the airport in the east and land in the ocean on the west. That would be
Mhm.
pretty cool. Ada Legend here says maybe a flight simulator game, right? Some kind of a mini game in
Ooh,
Pavia.
that's
So
actually really smart. I like
yeah.
that.
So who knows? Let's keep we can keep the speculation open a little bit longer, and see. Maybe it is an airport, but there's also other metaverses that you could imagine them integrating with. I think certainly Cornucopias has this idea of flight already with the bubble jet, and
Sure.
you can imagine something with Metaplanes in there. So I really love that they're looking to partner with existing metaverses. Now, another thing I want to call out is also look at this. This is the first time I saw this in Q4, giving away real airline tickets for lucky holders. So you could potentially win an airline ticket to
Wow.
travel somewhere on in the meat verse, which is planet Earth, not the metaverse, but the meat verse because it's all of our physical bodies, and so. You could actually get a real airline ticket. So maybe I could get lucky and come and fly and meet you, J Crypto. How cool would that be?
Yeah, man. That would be cooler than a fan blowing on ice in the Antarctic. I
Yep.
would love to. That's somebody mentioned earlier to the Rare Bloom event. I know people are excited for. Not sure if I'm going to be able to make it out to that one, but definitely CNFT Con. I'm looking at Rare Bloom though. We'll see. I think a
Yep.
lot of people are excited to meet up in the real meatverse, as Timmy says.
So moving on, I want to finish their roadmap, which is actually called an air map, which I thought was pretty cool because planes they don't drive on the road, so it's not a road map; it's an air map. A really nice kind
That
of
is
attention
nice.
to detail there. And then next year, sometime they want to talk about building a play to earn game on a different blockchain first. So maybe Phantom or maybe Binance, building a P2E game there, and then they say porting it over to Cardano if possible. So that's kind of cool. And who knows? Maybe they'll end up building it on Cardano first. Once we get more smart contracts and more of a library SDK out. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm a fan of Phantom. I have a couple Phantom, South Korean project actually. So that's kind of cool. So scrolling down, there's also an FAQ here. Most of this, like people will know, the mint is happening right now. It costs 40 ADA to mint one of these. And there's 3,333 in the first season. It's called the G1 collection.
Hmm.
So a third of 10,000, 3,333. So 3,333. Now, if you come to the top of the page, there's a mint now button. And this is great because if you mint it here versus buying it on the secondhand marketplace, you're supporting the dev team a little bit more. So that's good. I try and do that if I can, especially like if there's not a big whitelist. Now, when you go to their minting page, it takes you to this really cool kind of vending machine, retro NFTs at retronfts.art. I thought this was kind of cool, a little bit of a different technology here. And you can see it costs 40 ADA. And I was looking at it earlier, and it says there's only 430 left when I was looking at this earlier. So from 3,333, there's now only 430 left, and they're going pretty fast. And actually, I think what I'll do right now is jump into their Discord here, and you'll see what I mean. let's go to Metaplanes and announcements. Just a few weeks ago, they were at 600. At the end of April, there were only 600. There were 600 planes left. Now there's like 400. Yeah, 633 planes. 633 planes on March 4th. That was how many days ago, J Crypto? That's exactly like 7 days ago, maybe. Maybe. What day is it today? Cats, we don't really follow the calendar. What day is it today, J Crypto?
Well, you have 9 lives, so that makes a
Yeah.
ton of sense. It's Saturday the 12th. For us humans, we got to keep track because we only got one life. So
There we go, the 12th. So 8 days ago, they were at 633, and now they're saying they're under 400. There was an updated announcement here that so 490 a few days ago. This morning I saw they were at 430, but then yesterday sub 400 planes. So these are going fast. We sold 250 planes in a week, and there's less than 400 planes left now. So this is probably going to sell out, I think, pretty soon. So just a heads up on that if you're interested in getting one of these. You'll see here they've got a bunch of other benefits because there's a second collection happening. Maybe we'll talk about that right now. A second collection is happening, which is a bunch of collaborations with other CNFT projects. And they actually had an article done about them. I have it. Let's see, where did we put that? Here, cnftagency.com, another like press magazine about Cardano NFTs, did a full article about Metaplanes, a really detailed blog. And in here, you can see some of the partnerships that they're going to have. Take a look at this one, Ada Punks. Super kind of cool. I love these like
ooh,
these
that's a really
trees.
cool. I like that style.
Yeah,
By the way,
super cool. I'm not
Mhm.
sure about that graphic on the plane itself, though.
What is it?
I
Is
think
it?
that's from colonial Japan, actually. I could be wrong, but I think there's some history to that graphic, but it might be
Oh,
a
is it
different variation.
like?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I just love Japan, like Japanese
yeah,
culture and samurais
yep.
and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool looking cherry blossom trees.
VID Metaplane collaboration. Look at this. Is that the London Wheel, I think, and the Tower of London here? And then Project 2090. Look at
Mm.
this Disco Solaris plane. How beautiful is that? I just love the art style of Disco Solaris. Oh, hashtag not seaplane. So this one is not a seaplane truck, Dino, but there might be others.
Hey, Timmy, can we just bring up a comment real quick? Because this is part of the gauntlet. Someone is saying that they need a lot more utility with these NFTs. This might be a good comment to sort of, talk about what you think the biggest utility is. I know that we covered it a little bit earlier, but what do you think? Do you think that they need more utility? Do you think they already have a lot? I think it is going to be interesting to see if they can successfully partner with some metaverses. That would provide a lot of utility. But what do you think, man?
Let me jump back to my Discord and we'll jump ahead a little bit. The main way a lot of projects are giving utility is through a coin and staking rewards. And so this is the dollar miles coin. It's a Metaplane token that they're coming out, and you're going to be able to get airdrops of this coin if you own their planes. So if you own the planes, you're going to get a bunch of coin called dollar miles, and it's a beautiful design. Once again, you have the Cardano logo there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll zoom in. I think they did a really good job with this. I love the blues, being a blue cat
Sure.
myself. And
Yeah.
so you're going to get this coin, and this coin is going to be on the exchanges. And so, there's going to be ways to get this coin by staking your plane, and you'll be getting this coin every few weeks or every few days. I'm not sure on their cadence, but you're going to be able to get this coin for free if you own the plane. And then you can trade the coin for ADA on, exchanges like Muesli Swap, Sunday Swap, so on and so on. And so this is a popular way for projects to add utility. And so, yeah, I think this project does have utility. It's not just the art in this case, but there is this kind of staking coin mechanism to earn rewards and potentially earn back your initial purchase price. It's 40 ADA to buy a plane, and if you can get enough of this free coin, you could potentially earn back some of that 40 ADA purchase price.
So for me, Timmy, I actually have a different angle on the utility. I think the coin is interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the coin's utility is and how they position it. I think this project has a lot of utility if, like, from the stance of, starting an IP around these planes, pixelated, but then jumping into 3D rendered planes that potentially could have, in virtual reality utility to be able to fly. So I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they're kind of trying to make an asset, like a 3D rendered asset. I know Rob is here, or he just was in the chat. And what Cornucopias did with a bubble jet was a great example of the first kind of in-game, 3D rendered asset that has in-game utility. So, I mean, look at these. This is sick, Timmy. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but this is kind of a little bit of a sneak peek of what their 3D rendered planes may be able to do. And if they can partner with metaverses and provide that in-game utility, we could see an asset that has
Yeah.
some other functional utility.
We're jumping all over the place. I had an agenda, I had a plan, but I like how the Gauntlet is a lot more unique. You
Gauntlet,
never know what you're gonna get. But let's jump forward. I was gonna talk about this a little bit later, but it's okay. Let's keep it organic. This is a 3D rendering of their first season of Metaplanes. It's called the G1, which is pretty cool. And G2s are coming. I can't wait for the G7, right, in 2023. So you're right. This looks like it's in Blender, I believe, and you can see the 3D rendering. Now, on their air map, this is their air map, they did talk about integrating with metaverses. And I mean, it's right in their name. I mean, it's meta plane, metaverse.
Metaplanes.
And so I definitely think they have a strong eye towards integrating and partnering with metaverses. So, yeah, I think you're right. That's another example of utility. So,
And then the
this,
same guy commented too, and he said, I could see that working if they partner up with metaverses. Imagine taking these things from metaverse to another or
yeah,
flying against your friends. I think that's a
yeah.
great comment.
Or like flying and your friends are like hanging on by like a string and you could like transport them, like Mission Impossible. I think that'd be super, super cool. That's what I would try to do.
Or just drop a bunch of people off to like raid. I got a funny story about Ada Minions, so we'll talk about that later. That kind of ties
All
back
right.
to this.
So there you go. So this is an example of utility in the metaverse, and then also, we have the token utility that I walked you through a minute earlier, and then they've also got like rewards based on how many of these planes you own. So if you buy a plane and you verify that you've bought it, you become an OG pilot. And this is the first season of the planes. There's only 400 left, so there's only a limited time to become an OG, and then there's no more OGs. But if you have one of these OGs, you'll get a whitelist spot for their future collaboration. If you have 3, you'll become a verified pilot. You can become a frequent flyer. There's different tiers, and they actually have a different graphic that shows all the different tiers that you can get based on how many of the planes you own. We'll open that up here, so you can see like if you're like a whale and you have 100 planes, you'll get 20 of their miles token. 50, you'll be getting 15. If you have 15 planes, you'll be getting 5. And then, if you get any of the designs, you'll be getting 7. Like there's so many like ways, and there's a bonus multiplier. If you manage to get to like 15 planes, 5 of them of the same design, then you'll get a 1.2 multiplier. But like if you can get 15 planes of all designs, yeah, it's like there's so much like going on here in terms of the rewards. It's all gonna happen with their token. And so if you're into like,
Collectability they've incentivized, which is good
yeah,
from the investment standpoint. It's kind of interesting when I look at basketball cards, how collectible are they? This
yep.
has a lot of collectability design. I can already see that which a lot of NFT projects don't think about, in my opinion, is how to make things more collectible. And that's ultimately what it is. It's a collectible. So I really like this.
Yep, they put a lot of thought into it. You can say they definitely put a lot of thought into it. They're trying really, really hard to give some utility. And then, yeah, the last thing is we kind of glanced over it, but I just wanted to say that their most recent partnership with
Lazy
Lazy Llamas. Look how
Mm,
beautiful this is, and you can see how the plane is airdropping some kind of candy here. Speaking of airdropping your friends, well, they're airdropping food. It looks like
snacks, it
to
looks
the
like.
to the corner of Lazy Island. And then you've got the Ape Society.
Mm,
So Ape Society, it used to be called Ad Apes. You can see that they have a collaboration with them as well. Cardano Crocs, on and on and on. So,
wow,
so that's the project. It's called Metaplanes. It's minting now for 40 ADA,
smart.
but there's only a few left. They had 3,333, and now they're down to under 400, they say. So,
Mm.
um, there you go. Let me maybe stop screen sharing, and maybe you can pull up a couple chats if you see any J Crypto.
Yeah, for sure. So someone asked, can you look out the windows as you fly? So I don't think me and Timmy have the answer to that, but I'd imagine you can. So I'm just gonna say that. Uh, then we have somebody fly like a G6. Pretty sure that's a song. Um, we need to 3D print that plane. Somebody saying cryptocurrent. So that's pretty cool. And then Kami was before. I should shout out the names too. Um, a few people were talking when we were talking about the Rare Bloom event. Somebody said that me and you need to go to the Rare Bloom event. And then
Mhm.
Rob said that Cornucopias will be at Rare Bloom, which is
Oh,
cool to
wow.
hear.
Hey,
So
Rob. Great to see you, Rob. Rob is a legend. What's the name of the bike? What was it called? The Javelin? Oh man, I'm so
well,
excited for that. I spent a lot of ADA on the bubble jets, but I
mm,
think I might even spend more on the javelins. They look so cool.
it looks
I
so
was
fast.
Oh yeah, and when I was living in, I used to live in Indonesia. Indonesia is very friendly to cats, and when I was in Bali for about half a year, and I would ride my bike all day, and I just miss that so much. So I'm all over the javelins, guys. Keep your eye on cornucopias. They're gonna have a second drop coming up, and the bubble jets they sold out, right? So, um, you're
Mm.
gonna want to be on that.
Yeah, so Timmy, I'm thinking we switch up the order just because I really want to be good to the minions, maybe get to them first, and then we can do the full DeFi thing at the end here,
Let's do it.
while things are hot. Um, because the minions, I got a funny story I've been hinting at. We'll tell you that in a second here. But let me pull this up. So I'm just gonna share the stream. Do. Okay, so Ada Minions. So very interesting project. A couple things before we get into the big announcements. I was looking at the market right now. There's only 300 of these that have been minted, Timmy, and right now, if we go to all of them, you can see there's 300 assets. I don't know if you've used this, by the way, CNFT Jungle, but I really like it. It's kind of
Beautiful.
a derivative of CNFT tools,
Yep.
and they've done things really nice where you can even see if a project is minting. So what's interesting is you can click on that and see what's minting now, but Minions isn't minting now. They're minting on the 17th
Yep.
again for their next wave, which will have over 2,000 NFTs. And that will be for 35 ADA, if I'm not mistaken. But let's get to this real quick because I want to show people right now the prices are kind of holding because these were minted for 35 ADA. And you can see that to get a minion, the cheapest is 85 ADA. So they've done pretty well in the market for a first glance. I feel like that's important to kind of go over.
Yeah.
Um, Next couple things. So it was funny because this is okay. So before I get to before I get to that, let me just show you this announcement. So we all have heard of Carta Station, and my subscribers have been on me like white on rice to cover Carta Station. Now, Carta Station is a metaverse. I believe that they were the first moon metaverse on Cardano before Artifact, even. I've
Oh
heard
wow.
that's like they were actually first to doing moon plots. And Ada Minions have partnered with Carta Station. So this shows us the direction already without even having to look at their roadmap, which we'll do in a second, of where these uh, uh, minions are going. They're going to the metaverse, which means we're going to be able to have 3D rendered minions as probably avatars. So that's really interesting without even peeking. They've already partnered with a metaverse. And then I wanted to get to this story because they have a few really cool people in their team. I noticed. So, number one, if you guys know about Cardano Stoners Club, it's a huge Twitter space. Okay,
Yep.
Charles Hoskinson has actually been on that Twitter space a numerous amount of times. Now, he's not, I don't believe Charles is who knows, but he comes in and has a lot of fun. The guy that hosts that Twitter space, his name is Big Joe. Some people refer to him as Big Joe the Don. He was also kind of on the marketing team for Ada Ninjas, which was an early Gauntlet story we covered.
Yep.
The other person that I really like on the team that's an ambassador for this project is Cardano Thor. Now, Cardano Thor is long been in the community. He's got a huge Twitter following of over I think 5,000 or 6,000 OG Cardano people, and he's a huge advocate of these OG projects like Berry, Space Buds. So it's interesting that he's kind of an ambassador for this kind of project. I really like that. They do these things called Twitter raids. So this is why I was thinking of Metaplanes, because like what they did, I had no idea what this project was, right? But a couple weeks back, I got about, um, I would say about 50 notifications, from retweets and just people quoting me and whatnot, saying that basically they just tweeted at me, "What about minions?" And they did this for maybe a full 24 hours. I posted 2 videos. So every time I posted a video, they would comment on the tweet of the video. They'd
Oh,
say,
wow.
"What about minions?" So they do these things called raids. And it was kind of funny reading this because I'm actually somebody that they raided. Have a nice raid. I had no idea this was happening. So I think this will happen in the metaverse with some of these projects, by the way, just as like a fun little side note, where you may see the these planes with a ladder hanging out, drop off like 30 people to go to some metaverse party and just, raid the party. Maybe they do it in a strategic way. I think they'll have to, so it's not spammy, to just go to a metaverse party, right? Or a huge event in the metaverse and just talk to people and then maybe drop in there. Hey, what about minions? Or what about, schminions, or whatever the project is that the raid will be. I think this is an early kind of look at how marketing will be done in the metaverse. So very fun story there. Another thing that was interesting, and it was kind of fun. This was a question I had for the team as well, but basically, and I put it in the general chat. So I had a couple questions I wanted to ask on here too. But so in the first mint, right? They minted 300 of these minions. They were minted for 35 ADA. And they even have ADA minion coins. So as you can see, here are the ADA minion coins. Now, I believe the utility of these is to be announced. I was curious on the utility of these. I'm excited to hear what they have planned for these coins, but I think that they look really cool. They even have a little bit of an indented minion uh, on the actual coin. So it'll be fun to see what kind, and if you were early to the project and if you participate in these raids and other things, you have chances to earn these ADA minion coins. I believe that these will be basically the utility token of the project, and we may see different ways that they, use burns and create demand for these coins. So I'm excited to see that. That was another thing that I thought was really interesting. They've ticked off a lot that they've had
Wow.
planned to
Yeah.
kind of just, get the ball rolling here. I want to get into the story, but like I said, they already minted 300 ADA minions. They have the remainder of 2,500 minus 300 to mint at the same price of 35 ADA, which is going to be the 17th. I'm pretty sure. And there was a whitelist opportunity, by the way, where if you were whitelisted in the 300, they gave you them for free. So there was a chance to get a free minion. So those people are probably really happy because of the prices of these minions now. The other question I wanted to just pose to the team too, in case they're here in the chat, was I wonder if they have anything up their sleeve to give additional benefits to those that minted early. I think some projects do
Mm.
that. So really, it seems like what they've focused on recently was getting together their marketing, getting together a well-structured kind of. They have like this sort of Trello board to structure events. They have these marketing campaigns. They have some really interesting people that are big in the community on their team, but that's not all they got. So now let's get into the actual project. So, Timmy, what do you think of these ADA minions? Do you think
I
that
think
these
they're
look pretty cool? Do you think that these
super
look
cute. Super cute is what I gotta say. I love the cuteness factor and the accessibility. Like, I feel like these are, you know, any gender, any person of any age could like find like one of these that they really love. Like, I love how even young children, like there's a lot of people in the Cardano community that have children, and I
mm,
could totally dig my like buying one of these for a child or like giving them away as a gift. But also there's some that are more kind of mature that I would like to own, like even as an adult. But I love like the 3D element to them, being a 3D cat myself. I love this one here at the top right you're showing us there with the Cardano logo in the face. Reminds me a lot of like the Genius Yield mascot.
Robots, yeah.
Yeah, the Genius Yield robots. And so, but these ones are actually, since they're smaller and rounder, they're kind of a little bit cuter, I would say, like these Ada minions. And the one in the bottom left there, that looks like a cat to me with the ears
That
and
looks like
everything.
you when you don't get your catnip to me.
There you go.
Looks a
So
little
like,
bit angry. Yeah.
so I'm a big fan. The middle one is a tiger, so all kinds of feline representation, and it's unique. I just love that they've taken a 3D first approach. Being a big fan of 3D myself.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Do you know the story of Ada Minions? Because I'll break it down. So basically, this is like a dystopian future where we can't even see the moon because we're dishing out a ton of trash into space. There's all sorts of debris in space covering the moon. So what we've done as humans is we've created these robots to go and clean up the moon. And they've done a real successful job. They were finished cleaning up the moon, but then boom, there was like a huge crash where essentially they were shot down, and all of them who had all these memories now have amnesia. So
Whoa.
I could see it, what I would do if I was like really ambitious and leading the project. I would almost, if these were 3D avatars that you could walk around with, I would almost make like a little bit of a like a documentary on their lives before that crash that would be released every quarter or every year. And then as the years go on, so let's say in 5 years the full documentary is all there, you can see from their birth. If you just turn on the setting, if you're using VR, you can slowly see like little bits and pieces of the memories, and then it all makes sense all of a sudden, and you have the entire IP of each one individually. That would be the most ambitious approach, but I think that would kill. And then you also own the full documentary too of the actual Ada minion of each one, and you could incorporate how the design, like why the design is part of their story. I know that's a little off the wall crazy, but I think that'd be a really cool thing they could do because they are coming at it with the memory loss. So I wonder how that will integrate to maybe future NFT drops or storyboarding of these individual minions. It'll be very interesting. So that's the entire like kind of backstory. Another couple of things that I think you'll love about this is the founders, artists, and devs are completely doxxed.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Very important.
we don't promise you'll make money by holding. So they don't promise that you'll make any money by holding. Marketing tactics are good, plus engaging with the community. They do have some really deep members in the community, like helping them out with their marketing. So I like that.
Yeah.
The artwork is handmade in Illustrator. Interesting. And refined in Photoshop. We achieve to help starting artists that don't have resources. So that's kind of one of their core principles or beliefs. So let's take a look at the roadmap. So what happened in quarter four of 2021? They created the art. They add location metadata, which wasn't needed anymore. Grow marketing team. They've already been doing a lot of that. So it says still ongoing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what else they do. Start phase one. So they've completed phase one. They've dropped that. Phase one is sold out. So now let's look at what's left to do here. Drop phase two, which will be the collection on March 17th, 2022 of 2,200 NFTs. So there's only going to be 2,500 total ADA minions, it sounds like. Creation of the holder token and the minion token, white paper in the making. So I guess that utility will be coming, and it looks like there's not only just a minion token, but also a holder token, which is interesting. They have plans to expand the team, escape room games. There's actually a game server in their Discord I was looking at that was pretty interesting. It seems like they do want to think about gaming and how it can relate. The escape room idea, I've seen a lot of escape room implementations on the VR end
Oh,
of
really?
metaverses too, where there's a lot of people looking at escape rooms. It's becoming a huge trend on things like VR chat. That's been really blowing up. So it's interesting that they said this here. I'm wondering
Wow.
what they're going to be able to create. It'll be fun to see. Start creation of the 3D collection. So I'm going to show you a little sneak peek or snippet of that in a second. Giveaways and airdrops along the way. They do reward the community for being active. I've seen a ton of contests and raid events that they've done, which definitely gets people's attention. I didn't know what Ada Minions was, but after getting raided, I was like, what are these guys? Contest story in quarter two, contest story and design progression, animation, video. So maybe they are going that route. This is what made me kind of think it would be interesting if you had a backstory of each minion, giveaways and airdrops, marketing efforts to boost membership, whitelisting, a lot of fun, drop 3D collection. So I would say with this project is they're early on the 3D kind of avatar trend, which I like. I think that there is going to be more supply of projects doing this, but they've already kind of shown us that they do have some talent when it comes to artistic design. And I'm going to show you kind of what I think is a little bit of a sneak peek of what they'll look like in maybe a metaverse in a second. Just wanted to show this Trello board because I like when, a group has a Trello board that involves maybe the community, has some different ideas. It just shows maybe a more well-rounded business plan.
Yep.
And then real quick, take a look at this. This was on their Instagram. So this is one of their, interesting
Wow.
looking minions here. Don't sleep on us, it says. So obviously they're playing around with some 3D rendered stuff. Looks like it's on a platform here in the background. It'll be interesting what you can do. Very future bot looking too, by the way. I would say that these are kind of like the future bot cousins, right? If the future bots were designed to party, the Ada minions were designed to clean up some trash. But I think that the Ada minions future is sky high because they're going to forget that they were cleaning up trash, and maybe they go on and create some kind of civilization or some completely different feel. So
Is
I'm
that
excited for them.
is that a frog, like, on the chest, on the torso, and what's happening there? It looks like a frog. Do you see it?
Yeah, I think it might be just like
A
either a
toad?
frog or maybe an ape, it looks like, but like
Or
some.
the Hoppers project? Could it be maybe a nod to the Happy Hoppers?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not completely sure, but that would be very interesting if it was kind of like a little nod. It does look like this feline face is kind of, a nod to you though, Timmy, is
Oh,
what
yeah, I love the colors. I actually feel like,
look at this one.
Cardano somehow has a lot of cat stuff going on, like, there's obviously Boss Cat Rocket Club,
Mhm.
there's a cat theme here, but there's a few others, like, it feels like, there's, a lot of cat representation in Cardano, so I love it, it really feels like home.
Yeah, man. I just couldn't stop looking at their Instagram to be
Oh,
honest with you because
scroll
they.
down a bit. Can we look
Yeah,
at that one? I saw that one, the copper one in the middle.
yeah,
The
this one looks sick, huh?
Love the metallic kind of quality to that shader, that material. It's so beautiful. Really well done.
The texture is really cool.
Yep.
I love this, and they're showing us kind of what they can do here. So I think that's the important part. When it comes to a 3D rendered avatar asset, does it have a community? Does it have a strong marketing team? Um, they already kind of have this initial implementation with a partnership with Cardistation, which makes total sense in their storyline. So I love that. It's going to be really fun to see how this project does. And this is a hilarious picture too. I guess it's spilling its oil. It was drinking too much green, oil here, so it had to go take a leak. But very interesting stuff, I gotta say.
Yeah, I
So
think it's really cool. And there's actually just one more thing I wanted to mention about this one. And I think actually, give me a quick second here. Um, yes. Just on the tokens, you were talking about the holder token and the minion coin. So
mhm.
I just wanted to share this information. If you go to their website, you can click on the token in the header, and you can actually see a little bit of the tokenomics here. There's going to be a full white paper coming, but you can see here that there's a new ADA minion holder token, and
Oh
only
wow,
2,500 of these were released. Only 2,500.
that's the gold one. Okay,
Yeah, that's the
that's
gold one, you got it, yep, I got it open here, that's the gold one here.
wow.
Really, really beautiful, once again, Cardano logo right there in the middle. Look at the shoes, super cute, kind of puffy shoes. I don't know why, the shoes are my favorite part. And then this is the utility token, the minion coin. So you've got the minion coin, and then you've got the holder, coin. So yeah, the minion one is a utility, and then these ones were distributed as the initial mint on February 10th. So just a heads up on that. Beautiful, beautiful artwork, I think.
Oh, and I wonder if this is Philip from the team, maybe. is this the same Philip from the team? Philip, let us know if you're from the Ada Minions team because that'd be really fun. But he said that he likes the idea for the docu. He says he's stealing that idea. So I mean, that would be sick. I'd love to see that. That'd be really fun. And then he did say happy Hopper Frog.
Okay, well, it sounds like he's speaking with authority, so this might actually be, from the team then. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's awesome. I
interesting.
hopped
Very,
on.
very cool.
Cool.
Very, very cool. I love it when the projects drop by. Um, what is the what anything else in the live chat? Let's see. What do you guys think about the art style? How do you guys feel about 3D versus 2D NFT projects? The 2D ones can often make really good profile photos. The 3D ones as well, but the camera has to be positioned, right in order for the render to work well as a profile photo. But the 3D ones are increasingly going to have an easier time getting into the metaverse. So there's
Mm,
pros and cons, right? With some of the most successful 2D ones have been like obviously Board Ape Yacht Club, Boss Cat, Ape Society. The most successful profile photo ones have been kind of 2D. Space Buds. Okay, cool. That is Philip from the
yeah.
project. Um,
Thanks for
but
joining
then
us.
others kind of prefer 3D. I think some people might prefer both, but I do feel like people often have a preference.
Yeah, so I actually have a comment on this one, Timmy. You can't do AR. Now, AR is going to be huge in the next decade, like massive. And you can't do AR with a 2D picture. I think this is one thing. The metaverse obviously is the biggest, but the AR functionality, I would say, is the second biggest
Mm,
because when we start using AR at scale and we're starting to see other people's AR environments by just walking up to them, that's where I think AR and 3D NFTs are going to have a massive, adoption curve and highlight kind of the, you know, ability to have digital ownership and show somebody something because we can only do so much with clothes. Like we really don't, have too much to say with clothes, but when you have glasses on or contacts and you see an entire little environment whenever you look at somebody and you can show your AR environments and they can show theirs, it's going to be massive. So I just think we're super early, but I definitely think that's why these projects are sort of shifting because they see those trends and I think they're smart to see it.
That's an interesting perspective. I think you probably have more vision on like advanced AR than I do. Like I know you're really big into VR and VR chat and the game. You were telling me about a game you were playing. So I think yeah, you have a good sense of AR, kind of where it's going. I will say like the older AR, like even from 4 or 5 years ago, the cookie cutter AR use case is like you're walking down the streets of Boston, and you have the glasses on, and you turn around, and the side of the building is showing some art, like some graffiti or like some art, like a 2D painting.
Mhm.
And then when you take the glasses off, you don't see it. You just see a brick wall or like some whatever the wall of the building is. But when you put on your glasses, you can see the art. And I think there's a maybe nanoframes or like there's a hotel company that is looking to add like AR art throughout the hotel. And so you're walking through the hotel, and if you put your glasses on, you'll be able to see the 2D paintings. And so I think some of the 2D PFP projects might be able to do that kind of like traditional AR use case, but it's not like the 3D immersive AR that you're talking about, like, being able to really like interact in full 3D space. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Well,
AR. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think that's yeah, no, I was just gonna say, Timmy, like if we look at, yeah, like what's gonna do well in this small pool of people that we have right now on Cardano, it's really dangerous in my opinion because the reality is NFTs are going to not scale with this small pool of people. It's going to scale with mainstream adoption.
Yeah.
And that mainstream adoption will come with the next evolutions of social media and how we represent ourselves in daily life in public. So I think where we can start there is we can peer into that veil and see how AR can be a means of communication and representing things about us to random strangers.
Yeah.
And that's what we do on social media. That's what we're going to do when we're walking in the street with our glasses. We'll have all of our NFTs and our environments set up. and people will be able to just, they're going to look at a block that's AR and they're going to be able to click on it. Boom. It shows my business card. Maybe it shows everything that I want to show every stranger in the world. And they can even, get a little invite of my business card and know where I work and get and know where to buy my products or something of that nature. I think all of that is coming. It's just we're so dang early.
I think another final point I'll say on AR, J Crypto, is, being a cat, I want to go outside. I like to go outside, and sometimes I need to go outside. And
We want you
AR,
to be outside too, man. We're working on it. We're trying to figure that out so you can come and
come that
interact
rare
with us.
bloom.
Yeah.
AR is what will allow us to experience the metaverse, experience NFTs outside in the real world. A lot of us are worried about the metaverse. Like, are we all going to be in front of our computers all day, or are we going to be in our living room with our headset on all day? Like, nobody wants that. We don't want to be living in the matrix. But AR, where you can put on your glasses and you can
Mhm.
see the real world, but then you can have an overlay of like some virtual things sprinkled in the real universe. I think that's super, super important. I think like AR is going to be our salvation in a way to help our health, like to get outside of your house, get outside of your apartment, and but maybe you can still earn tokens. You can still do gamification, right? We saw Pokemon Go being very successful, where people were going out into the real world, go to the park, go to the beach, go to the mall, and you can find one of these Pokemon Go characters. I know you're very excited about Pavia Povs. Well, what if Pavia Povs were spread out across the real world in planet Earth at certain GPS locations? And then people had to actually go outside to their local city park or to their city hall to learn about, local city council and get participate in local politics. Maybe actually have POVs distributed in the real world to get us out of the house, get us off out of the sofa, moving, get that blood moving. And so AR is actually, I think, what's going to help us do that. And we're actually there's a risk that we're going to have a lot of critics complaining about VR, about how it's bad for our health because we're not exercising
Happens
and we're
every
not getting
time, man. Like
yeah,
people
we're
say
not
it
getting
about the
outside.
internet. People said it about Elvis music.
I would say
Um,
that video
we
games, but
we
I think
always
AR,
emphasize
eh,
technology, but yeah, there's some truth to it too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah,
yeah,
maybe
it's
not
bad,
Elvis
right?
music, but
Maybe not Elvis music, but yeah, AR is our answer to that, and so we should lean on AR, continue to develop AR to get us out of the house because I'm worried about that a little bit.
I also think people underestimate though bringing it is kind of like Elvis music, and I do think people do demonize technology. We also underestimate these big tech companies like Apple to improve VR to a point where it's really not at all, bad for our health. I mean, I know that the frame rates are already going down to a point where our eyes can keep track, whereas the original Quests were way above that point, and that's why people get motion sickness with the Quest.
Uh,
So I do know that that's already, being solved in real time, and we're so dang early, man. We're only finding out the problems after releasing this stuff. So I think VR will be huge. It'll be seamless. It'll be just as easy and accessible as AR, but I do think that AR will provide us, a chance to be our own marketplace, right? If I have NFTs, guess what? Now I get the royalties on my own NFTs for selling them on my own virtual, thing. Whenever somebody looks at me, they can see what NFTs I own and which ones are
oh
for sale
wow,
and buy them.
I
That's
love that.
where I think that's going. Yeah.
That's super cool. I
Or
really,
a
really
little
like that.
video about like, hey, this is who I am, if they want to click on it, something like that.
So you're just
Follow me.
walking down the you're just walking down the street, or maybe you're sitting in the park, sitting at a restaurant, and if someone else, a stranger, has the AR glasses on, they might be able to see that J Crypto is actually the artist of these NFTs, and then
Mm,
what they could do is maybe kind of tap you in the real world, or maybe just send you a message, and you guys can actually meet in the real world and do some kind of a sale. Um,
I think
so
that
very,
kind of
very cool.
transparency and personal branding is really what this technology is going to promote. As we do see a lot of robots taking the jobs of like manual labor, we're going to have a lot of humans maybe shifting into content creation too, or just entertainment as well as a
Oh
means
yeah,
to work. But those are some crazy futuristic thoughts. The point is we're super early and we get to spend time with developers like Philip who are just early to these trends.
yeah.
But that's where I see the 3D stuff going for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, we had the gig economy, and the gig economy, has some downfalls, and then you kind of have the creator economy, and I think soon you're going to have the metaverse economy, which is really
Mm.
building on the creator economy, but also,
The
learn to
digital
earn.
property economy too, yeah. Yeah.
Learn to earn cornucopias, and, we just had this comment here, "What do you think about cornucopias?" I do know that learn to earn is a big part of cornucopias that I'm excited about. I've kind of been in the education space for a little bit, so I think there's some really cool stuff there. In terms of the next cornucopias drop, though, yeah, I'm very, very excited for the Javelin. Those motorbikes look super, super cool. I need to learn more. I need to research. The information might be out there, but, like the bubble
Mm.
jets will let me fly, I think, from each bubble, right? And I can fly. I can fly over mountains. I can go anywhere. How is it going to work with the Javelin? The Javelin motorbike, is it maybe more for the gaming, like for the races, and maybe I can earn Kopi coins that way? But like, I don't imagine I could fly the Javelin from bubble to bubble, or does it fly? Maybe I'm wrong.
So the way I see it right now is you're right, we don't know, but I think people are speculating a little too much. If we just look at the facts, we can see that the bubble jets have a bubble. So that instantly means that we're protected when we go to space because
Hmm.
we need to breathe in these metaverses. The
Yes,
javelins have no cover. So what I'm assuming that means is there will be some travel functionality with the bubble jets that we may just not have with the javelin.
I think so.
Similar to like an NFT ticket. If you want to get to this parcel in Pavia, right? You might need a certain NFT ticket from Clay Nation in your wallet to actually go into that parcel. I think that's maybe where the bubble jets have unique value. But I also think that we will see maybe the other way. Maybe the javelins can fly. So we just don't know. And we should just
Yeah.
kind of wait and see.
Yeah, yeah. It's pure dubious speculation, as Benjamin Cowan says, one of my favorite
Dubious
YouTubers.
speculation. Yep.
So yeah, so we don't know. And to be clear, Jay Crypto and I, we don't have any inside info on cornucopias or Pavia or any of these projects. I
None.
always troll Jay
I
Crypto,
try
but
to
he
get it.
he
Doesn't
doesn't
work.
have it. If he does, I don't think he would. Yeah, he's pretty professional. So
I have a
we're
big
just we're
mouth,
just
so
speculating.
probably
So
smart for not telling me, but
super quick one before we maybe move on. We were talking about AR a minute ago. I'm a big, big fan of Jazz is Dead. I did a huge video on this project. It's a real jazz collective. They have a jazz album that they're giving out on NFTs in NFT format. But then you can also get actual vinyls of the jazz music, like actual records sent to you. And then if you have a gold tier NFT, you can get the test vinyls, which normally like only the label, the music company would get, but you can actually get the test version of their vinyl records, which is super cool. And you can get concert tickets. So yeah, Jazz is Dead is doing a ton of stuff to bridge um, CNFTs in the digital economy with real world live music. So I think that's super, super cool. Thank you for shouting that one out, Rocky 111. What do you think?
should we get into Indigo and then Minswap?
Yeah, you're the boss. I actually saw Indigo James here. I don't know if you saw this one. Is Indigo James actually from the Indigo team? But if he's still
I
here, I'd
think
love
so.
to have a shout out. Maybe if he's in the chat, we can kind of go to him if there's any questions as you get started. But
Yeah,
yes,
because
super cool.
I really am so excited for synthetic. The same way I'm excited for AR and VR, I'm excited for synthetic assets, man. This is gonna be a game changer. I think there's a couple ways to do it. Indigo James, he says yes, he's here. Awesome. There's a couple ways to do it. There's the tokenization of assets. We've seen this start on blockchains like Polygon with actually, believe it or not, the carbon credit markets where they're trying to tokenize Vera approved VCU carbon credits. So that way they retire them in the real world, they bring them onto the blockchain. But then there's this whole derivatives market that is going to be so important and fun to explore in this Web3 era. And it's going to be healthy, I think, for a lot of people to take positions in other assets. So let me share my screen, Timmy, and kind
Take
of
it
get
away.
into a little bit of why I'm very excited for this member of the DeFi Alliance, because this is a project I think I'm definitely going to be covering and trying to do some tutorials on when it comes out. I actually did do some of that with two other synthetic projects. Let me just make sure that I'm here. Okay, cool. So sharing the screen. So with the synthetic projects that I've kind of talked about early in my YouTube career was Mirror and Synthetics, which is an Ethereum and Terra project, respectively. And what was interesting though is seeing this come to Cardano is literally so exciting for me as I've gotten incredibly engaged in the Cardano community and tried to make most of my holdings Cardano assets, whether they're NFTs or tokens and whatnot. But basically, imagine this tokenizing the real world economy. So Indigo bridges the real world to the blockchain, giving everybody equal access to financial opportunities. So imagine if you could basically, with the uncertainty of economics, and we hear things like, oh, people should be investing in oil, or people, not financial advice, people should be investing in uranium because these commodities may provide a hedge against inflation or are in high demand, and they don't do anything when there's crashes or recession. So it's good to position yourself in those because if the economy does crash, they won't only not do anything in terms of being a store of value, but they may actually increase in value as people try to own something that's real. Indigo provides a platform that creates a derivative of any type of asset by using Charlie 3. I'd imagine they're probably going to use an Oracle solution.
Oracle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to basically track the price feeds of these assets and then allow you to invest into a derivative or a synthetic asset that moves up and down with the price of something like gold, silver, uranium, things of that nature. They have a few videos I would like, listen, this is just a suggestion here, not financial advice. I suggest watching this initial video here on how it works. And they have another video here that's like, a synthetics asset one-on-one bid. And they even go into a demo. And I just want to scroll in. Oh, excuse me. That's not the one I was looking for here. They have this kind of dashboard that I was looking at earlier. I might not be able to find it, but let's see if I go here. Oh, okay. So as you can see, what they do is like synthetics on Ethereum. They have like synthetic Bitcoin or synthetic Binance or even synthetic Tesla. So they take the data feed from a stock and then they put the S in front of it, and now you can buy the synthetic Tesla stock that goes up and down in real time because of these oracles and because of the ability to burn and inflate the
Wow.
supply of tokens. That's how the tokenomics kind of work of some of these synthetic protocols to match the price. What's great about synthetic assets too is it's really equitable. So if you don't live in the US but you wanted to get in on Elon Musk because you think he's a smart entrepreneur, he's doing some very smart things, you can now buy a synthetic version of Tesla stock and boom, now you're, positioned without actually having to go into, buying an actual piece of stock because you're from the US, but if you're not from the US, you can't do that in some areas. Um, I also just wanted to say real estate is going to be huge with these kind of markets. I believe certain ETFs to follow, certain creative solutions will be fun to watch.
Do you mean like real meat first real estate or metaverse real estate?
Wow, that's an interesting one that you just said. So I think both, to be honest with you. I mean, why not track a certain index of properties of metaverse real estate if somebody creates it? But that would be very interesting, like tokenizing 40 plots of Pavia. But I
It's
was
right.
talking about the meatverse, but that's
You're
a
talking about
real
the
interesting.
meatverse.
Yeah,
It's
that's
right here from the man himself. Indigo James says there's someone working on derivatives in the metaverse, and so you could create synthetic digital assets for anything, not just like real physical stuff or real companies or stable
great.
coins, but I mean you could have digital synthetics for NFTs, for real estate plots,
LeBron James
whatever.
rookie cards or Michael Jordan rookie cards.
Oh,
You could
wow.
you could even do potentially, but I think what they're going to do too, Timmy, is they're going to have like a voting system where the
Okay.
community will decide which kind of, data to track which asset groups first. But that's awesome, by the way. I think that's really great. And I'm excited to see what the community does decide and get myself some of these tokens, these Indigo tokens, not financial advice. This project is not sponsoring the Gauntlet today, but I just wanted to show people because I think we're super early to something really cool. The market caps so the market cap for Mirror I was looking is around 300 million. The market cap for Synthetics is around $1 billion right now, and this is just early DeFi for Cardano. But I think this stuff is all going to explode. So if you're an investor, not financial advice, that's an interesting trend to be watching. And these synthetic protocols, the big dog synthetic protocols, get a lot of interest because a lot of institutional investors recognize how big the derivative markets really are. So this is a huge one, and they're part of the DeFi Alliance, which is kind of like, in my mind, the most credible DeFi projects on Cardano. I like to think because
Oh
they're all
yeah.
kind of working on. Would you agree with that too,
Oh
Timmy?
yeah, DeFi Alliance. I mean, Sunday Swap. I mean, all the best are in the DeFi Alliance. I think, and anyone who's not in there is probably trying to get into the DeFi Alliance. Genius Yield recently joined them last week. Indigo is in there. Indigo was a part of the first cohort, right, with Charlie 3, Sunday Swap, and the rest. And so, yeah, if you, that's like for me, that's a
Those are
really
big
important.
dogs. Yeah.
What's that?
What I was just gonna say, one other thing is, I think this will help maybe bring other assets from other ecosystems. If you notice, if you go on Sunday Swap, we don't have Bitcoin, we don't have Ethereum, we don't have XLM, but this is maybe a way to, onboard some assets that we don't have that are just traditional crypto assets too. I think that that's an interesting thing, but it's interesting.
Yeah, and then just a quick good note here from James. Yeah, so this isn't sponsored by Indigo. That we're just talking
Yeah,
about
they
them
didn't
because
sponsor us. I'm just
yeah, we
excited about the project, and I figured I'd
yeah,
tweet
we're
it
just
out and
excited,
tag
and
them.
we're not throwing shade. We're not saying it's not sponsored. It's actually a positive sign. Like we love this project. I'm actually pretty big on trading. I used to trade a lot of futures. So I used to trade the ES and the NQ futures, and so these are basically the E mini and the E mini Nasdaq and S&P 500 futures, and these are called derivatives. I'm gonna get a little technical for a minute because derivatives are basically a function of time. And so, for anyone who studied calculus in
Mm,
university, I studied computer science, and so I did calculus for a couple semesters. And the first derivative of is x equals dt, which is a function of time. And basically, I'm bringing this up because the word derivative, in terms of financial assets, is really about talking about price in terms of time. And so when you think about oil derivatives or pigs or S&P derivatives, you're really trying to price oil 3 months from now. There's usually derivative contracts for every quarter, every 3 months. And so what this makes me particularly excited about when we think about derivatives is the ability to purchase contracts like options or futures contracts on assets 3 months ahead. And so then you can get into speculation around timing. When you think about options and calls and puts, they're also all tied to a certain contract date, and this is part of what derivatives are. I think
yes.
sometimes we're overloading the word derivatives and synthetics, and Indigo is doing a lot of synthetics right now, but that will let them do true derivatives. And so then what can happen is, J Crypto, you could purchase a Pavia futures contract
Yeah.
for the Pavia token that says on June 1st, you'll have the rights to purchase 1,000 Pavia at zero point 0.5 ADA. And then what happens is if the price of Pavia goes
Mhm.
up above that,
Yeah.
then you're in June, you're going to be able to exercise your option or call in your futures derivative, and you're going to be able to buy Pavia at zero point 0.5 ADA, even though the market price is maybe 1 ADA or 2 ADA.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so this is all about
Exciting too.
it's very speculative in nature. It's price speculation based on time. And on the other hand, if the price of ADA doesn't go above zero point 0.5 ADA, then you could you bought that future, but you're not going to exercise it because it's actually it would give you the rights to buy it at a higher price than the market. So yeah, so it's very speculative and gambling in nature in that
Well,
perspective. It's also a risk hedge, but go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, Timmy, why this is exciting to people that don't even participate in those things is because a lot of people do participate. And
Yeah,
that means a lot of liquidity by allowing this stuff to be here and part of our ecosystem will come to Cardano.
yeah,
And it was a very interesting point made with, why would we create all these other tokens for these NFT projects in my latest DAO off where I had a bunch of DAOs. And it's really good to have those guys because one of the viewpoints was if you exchange ADA on Muesli Swap or even, maybe on Sunday Swap, and you trade it for another asset, like on an order book, then what you're really doing is you're keeping that liquidity on Cardano. Whereas if you go off of Cardano and sell your ADA on a native exchange or a centralized exchange, I mean, you're actually taking that liquidity off of Cardano.
Yep.
So in order for Cardano to grow not only in price, but just as an ecosystem, we want as much liquidity here as possible in-house. So by having these extra options or synthetic assets, not only to, be able to simply from our ADA wallet buy a derivative of gold, instead of having to, really store all the gold and stuff. And I know that there's kind of a huge argument for why you would want to do that, but maybe uranium, something like that, and maybe just having a small portion of uranium or gold or silver. Besides that, you also are adding liquidity into the entire Cardano ecosystem, especially with the options contracts and other derivatives coming. I really liked what you were talking about in explaining how option contracts work. If you're a buyer, then you can buy a premium to essentially bet on a bet, like Vince Petrick says
Yeah.
right here. Huge shout out to Vince for coming to all of our stuff, by the way.
You bet on a bet, which makes it a derivative. It goes basically exponential, and you can also bet on volatility. Basically, you're trying to hedge your risk against volatility. And so, what's interesting with these derivatives is, if you think there's going to be like a new DeFi cycle coming, then you might want to kind of sell options or sell futures. Because you anticipate there's going to be a big volatility spread. You were just talking about liquidity. Another advantage of high liquidity is price discovery. So the more
Mm,
liquidity there is, the lower the spread will be from the buys and the sells. And so if you go to Muesli Swap, for example, and you bring up some of these coins that are not as popular, you'll see that there's a huge spread in the order book from the buy and the sells. And it's really hard to actually make trades happen. And basically the market maker is going to get most of the profits from that. But for the really high liquidity projects, the spread between the offer and the ask from buyers and sellers is very, very close. And so you have much more accurate price discovery when you have more liquidity. And so synthetics will help with that, and derivatives will help with that. And another piece that we haven't talked about yet is leverage. So synthetics and derivatives add a tremendous amount of leverage, because these are leveraged instruments where you're not betting on Pavia, you're betting on Pavia by a certain date, which makes it a leveraged instrument. And I just want to quickly share my screen, if I can, to talk about why this is really important for Cardano and the ecosystem overall. And this is the DeFi. Actually, hold on, not this one. The DeFi Llama. If you've been tracking DeFi Llama, this is a site that tracks all of the liquidity that's locked into DeFi for
oh
each
wow.
blockchain. And now, yeah, this is a very, very popular site. And you can see like Ethereum has, $111 billion of liquidity across all of their
Yeah.
DeFi projects. They've got 561 projects. Now, Cardano was added here in January. I remember I covered it as the day after Cardano was added, right around when Sunday Swap launched. At that time, we only had Muesli Swap and Sunday Swap. But you can see now we've got a ton of other exchanges here: Vi Finance, ADAX Pro, Sunday Swap, definitely leading at 115 million locked into liquidity. And then Minswap at 60 million. Minswap's really coming up quickly because, they haven't even launched on mainnet yet. And so a lot of this is just the LP stuff that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So it's pretty, pretty cool to see Cardano coming up. I showed you they were at 28 right now, Cardano here. But a few weeks ago, Cardano was at 44. We were ranked 44. And so in just a few weeks now, we've come from 44 to 28. And you can see
Start.
yeah, it's super great start. And I'll also say DeFi Llama, they don't update in real time. It's a little bit out of date. And actually, Ada Whale, for anyone who's familiar with Ada Whale, released this chart the other day. And he says, this is the chart that strikes fear in all those that have bet against Ada. And this is because the actual total value locked is 324 million is the latest number. You can see here in early February is at 50 million, 100 million at the end of February. Now we're at 324 million. And so if you go back to DeFi Llama and you take a look at where 324 million would put us, it looks like we'd be right here in 22nd spot. And so 28 right now, but if this is showing our actual TVL, we'll be up to 22nd spot, and within spitting distance of the top 10 for TVL. And we haven't even really launched most of our DeFi protocols. They're all waiting for the hard fork in June. So keep an eye on DeFi Llama, and keep an eye on ADA's climb, Cardano's climb up these charts. And Indigo and their synthetics and their derivatives are a huge part of this story.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add too for Indigo, James, and so basically Indigo isn't going to be doing any options. This isn't like odds, which is a more options protocol on Binance Smart Chain, and I think that they're actually looking at other chains too, the odds, but they're really focusing on just creating a derivative of something like gold or a derivative of something like um, I mean, I'm sure that the simplest ones might just be a Bitcoin derivative too, but like just something that we can kind of put maybe a real world asset is really exciting on the blockchain in a way and not have to go completely off Cardano to put liquidity into that price, kind of betting on that price to go up of a real world asset. So I think their main focus is to create a token of something like gold or uranium, and if the community votes on it, whatever the community votes on, we don't know it, but that's the fun part. And
Yeah.
imagine this stuff is fun, and then being able to buy with ADA into that kind of derivative, and it won't necessarily increase the market cap of the derivative or the actual underlying asset, but you get to play in the you get to play the game of investing in that asset in that kind of way. So
Yeah.
I love these. It adds liquidity into our space, and it'll be very interesting to see how this stuff kind of shakes out.
Yeah, I think an important thing that you're touching on there is we need to be clear about derivatives versus synthetics. And so V1 launch is all about the synthetics. So having like a synthetic gold instrument, having a synthetic, BTC. These are kind of like synthetic instruments is probably the best way to call those. And that's what Indigo is focused on. Derivatives are really kind of these option contracts and these futures that are potentially coming later. And so we should be careful not to call them derivatives, because there is some shade around derivatives. Like this other person was saying, the mortgage crisis earlier. Derivatives are highly leveraged instruments, and so yeah, I think it's good to say like right now we're focused on synthetics, and then derivatives maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
So basically the noun for a derivative is just what I was referring to more than the actual derivatives market, which is just something that is based on another source.
yeah,
So
it's derivative of something else. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's just a terminology, to be thrown around, but Timmy's right. There is a completely separate thing. It's where like the academic version of inflation and then people that just think the inflation of the supply of money, they kind of get at war sometimes when they're talking about inflation, because there's an
yeah,
academic version of inflation versus consumer price index, but then there's the actual like, well, I just meant the inflating of the supply of money or deflating of the supply of money. And then those two people kind of get out, they have the misunderstanding. So there is actually a word derivative, but then there's all these things under the derivative umbrella. So
yeah.
synthetics is really the focus, if you just want to call it the maybe umbrella term of what they're trying to accomplish.
Yep, it's cool. Yep. Yeah, you're right. It is confusing. I'm glad we have James here to help him, and so to help us. Sorry.
I love
Um,
that James is here, by the way. This is
yeah,
awesome
it's so
because I've
cool.
been Indigo is like literally because I love synthetics so much. I love dexes, I love yield aggregators. I'm excited for all of it, but synthetics is what I'm most excited for, just to be able to have some options in this turmoil market to maybe invest into an asset that we normally wouldn't be able to with something like ADA. It's really going to be exciting to see what they can do. And what you said, Timmy, about Pavia derivative, ETF, that's just
Future.
crazy. Like to think about what it might be coming in a year or two from now of what we can do with NFTs and creating these like indexes and a derivative of that trades against. It'll be really fun to see what the heck happens here.
It's gonna be nuts. Just hold on to your ADA though. Be careful with all of these things, but definitely take a few percent out. Not financial advice, but I'm gonna take a few percent and play around. With yield farming, liquidity providing.
That's
I
smart.
wanna, I wanna,
Play
I wanna
around,
get
yeah.
into it. It'll be the first time for me, and maybe we'll use this to pivot into Minswap in a minute. But
Yeah.
I haven't done a lot of the DeFi yield farming or LP or anything yet, because Cardano is really my first blockchain. I'm
Oh,
a Cardano native.
so
Um,
excited.
yeah. Have you done a lot before, J Crypto?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
lost a lot of money. I've made a lot
Oh,
of money, but I've lost a lot of money too. And
yeah.
I think that it's really smart. And what I'm saying on my channel is the same thing. Play around with the stuff so that way you can at least get experience, but don't go all in right away. Like make sure that you get kind of your feet under you of what the heck is happening. A lot of these things you might just want to wait to see if they actually work or if they break too. So that's a little bit word of caution just to like, take your time. There's no rush. Usually the ones that have the wicked high rewards at first, it's not worth getting into because like if you don't know what you're doing, that's usually when you get wrecked number 1. If you know what you're doing, then you probably don't need to listen to me. But it's kind of like more worried about those first timers in DeFi that I'm coming from of like there's no real rush to get into it. DeFi is meant to be a sustainable vehicle to earn yield through providing our own assets. And I just think it's an amazing, invention. I'm huge into passive income. I'm excited for it, but there's no
Well,
rush. Take your time, is my word of caution.
yeah, take your time and keep your eye on J Crypto's YouTube channel. Like J Crypto did a Jed video earlier this week that I thought was really well researched, really well prepared, and kind of made it simpler to understand. And that's like one of the toughest things to explain. So I'm looking forward to learning about this stuff kind of through your channel, J Crypto, and so I'll be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, we're gonna learn together too, and me and Timmy talked about this because of this DeFi cycle that we think we're early to. We're gonna be bringing more of this stuff to you guys on the Gauntlet, even if it's unsponsored, because we just find it very important right now to get that education out. Let people know these key terms like what Indigo is doing with synthetics, or what is a yield aggregator, what's a DEX, what's Genius Yield trying to do, how is AI coming into that, so that way when these products do come out and you see this hype train around them from people making enormous amounts of money, you don't just go right in without any context. You kind of know what the heck is happening. That's our goal.
You got it. Let's jump into our last story then, which is it's a natural pivot as we're talking about DeFi and liquidity. I see this note here towards here apparently has been doing really really well with yield farming on Sunday Swap. And what I want to tell everyone, in case you didn't know, is that Minswap
Right.
is about to be to launch their
Exciting.
yield farming, and so this will be a quick story. But I want to give everyone a heads up. Let me just move over to my computer. Just walking over right now. There we go. So this is a tweet from the Minswap team. Yield farms are coming on March 14th. So today is March 12th on the Human calendar. So this looks like Monday. Monday, we might have yield farms on Minswap in 11 different pairs. And so I really love how, Minswap is a cat based project. Everything about the project is all about cats. You can see their logo, their mascot is a cat. And these yield farming pools that are coming up are also animal based. And there's a whole one just for cats. And you can see there's a lion farm which has 50 points. Like each one has different kind of yield farming amounts and rewards. And
Mhm.
I would say you can check out their Twitter to find the link. Their Twitter is at MinswapDex. But then it links to their documentation hub, which is really, really well done. They have a beautiful table of contents here on the left,
You
and then
kind of look like the mid swap cat, Timmy. Like a
do I
little bit.
a little bit, right? A little bit. Let's actually let's
Ah.
investigate. Maybe we could zoom in.
I mean, as like as close as possible, right?
Let me stand up. Let me see if I can stand up a little bit. It is pretty similar. Oops. Kind
I
of
think
similar, right?
yeah, that shadow on the Minswap cat looks like a 5 o'clock, a 5 o'clock shadow on like a not forgetting to shave kind of thing. So maybe if you don't shave for a couple days, we'll get some hair on you. But
I love it. I love it. So, yeah, so check out their documentation hub. There's a whole yield farming section here that really walks you through what is yield farming. I was reading this last night, and it's pretty accessible. If you're not an expert or anything, but you want to know, I found this was pretty accessible. And then they have like real life examples here. On the main page, but actually, if you really want to dive in, they have a subsection here, yield farming example, and you can walk through this. It says like, okay, on day one, let's say you have 1 million LP tokens, you stake those. It walks you through all the maths if you want to see like how it all works. And it'll tell you like what happens on day 4. It tells a really beautiful story. I found this really, really helpful.
Hmm.
And then they get into like the different allocations for the different farms. So Lion Farm is the Min ADA pair. Then they have Tiger Farm, which is Pavia ADA, Liquid ADA,
Love that.
Meld ADA, World Mobile, and Dana, which is Ardana, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's Ardana.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not sure either, Timmy.
yeah,
That'd be good.
I might be wrong. I'm just guessing by the name, but I didn't think Ardana was quite ready yet, but maybe.
Hmm.
And then there's a cat farm, meow, which is once again CNETA, which we heard just a few minutes earlier. This is wrapped Bitcoin on Cardano. How cool is that?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what it
CNETA,
is.
wrapped Bitcoin.
Interesting.
Kitty Farm will have ADA, which I think I saw you talk about on your channel a while ago, actually, J Crypto.
I think I had somebody on that was talking about it.
Okay,
I
got
haven't
it.
done a I need to deep dive a lot of these tokens. So,
Clap, and then Wi-Fi, which is
mhm.
super, super cool. And then, of course, the dog farm, Hosky. And so
Yep.
it's a pretty good representation.
Right.
Like I remember when Sunday Swap first came out, like they started with maybe just 2 or 3 pairs, and only recently they added Card Starter. But it looks like okay, cool. Thank you, Torgier.
Thanks for your
Torgier knows what's going on. He's been a super big
deep eye
supporter,
import. Yeah,
super big help for me. So big
deep eye
shout out to
resource.
Torgier. You're amazing. And so this is a pretty impressive list of pairs for their initial yield farming release on Monday. This is coming in 48 hours, guys. This is crazy. And then they had a liquidity bootstrapping event, which is a way to like, it's an additional way to get some free LP tokens. And I won't spend too much time on this because like it's already kicked off. It kicked off a while ago.
Mhm.
You can see like a link on their Twitter. They had a Twitter post here a few days ago, but there's a whole Medium article around their LBE event. And right now they're just finishing up the middle phase. It ends March 13th tomorrow. And this is where you can trade per ADA for min ADA. Now, if there was a phase from February 23rd to March 4th, let me zoom in a bit, to actually get the per ADA, and that's finished now. So I won't spend too much time on this because if you don't have per ADA, you're not really interested in the encounter phase because you can't really participate. But in case you do have per ADA, guys, you have a day to trade your per ADA for LP tokens. So just a quick reminder on that. And you can go to the LBE site, their liquidity bootstrapping event here, and you can see there's only 1 day left. So this is why I wanted to bring this up on the Gauntlet today. You only have until tomorrow to trade your per ADA for LP. What's that, J Crypto?
Yeah, I saw a comment. I just wanted to bring it up real quick. So Chris said, what would be the difference in moving to their yield farm versus staying in Sunday Swap, for example? And I think the biggest difference is that there isn't a locking period for yield farming on Minswap, where there is a locking period right now for all 4 of their farms of 30 days on Sunday Swap. So this means that you'll be able to receive rewards faster on Minswap than you would on Sunday Swap, if I'm not mistaken. And you can basically do it on a day-to-day basis. So if you have a lot of liquidity pool and you're, maybe receiving close to 1% a day, and you have, I don't know, $1,000 of liquidity, which isn't like a ton, but it isn't like nothing, right?
Yeah.
You'd be receiving around $10 of US dollar like value every single day. And now you can claim those rewards on a daily basis instead of waiting for 30 days to maybe claim it. I think you can move your liquidity, like you can take your liquidity out as well from Minswap. So this is kind of something where if you take your liquidity out before the locking period ends on Sunday Swap, then you don't get your rewards. But with Minswap, you can take it out more agilely, if that's a word. It's not, but
Yep.
I just made it one. So
What would be the so agile is an adjective. So what's the adverb? I'm not sure. More agile, I
agile.
think it's just more agile. I think that's how you do it. Yeah. I think it's just more agile.
We need a
But yeah,
grammar teacher in our chat to speak up right now. Let us know.
what's the adverb for the adjective agile? Okay. So yeah, heads up guys, you have just until tomorrow. But even if you didn't participate in this, yeah, Chris, thank you for staking the Tim one. Yeah, so that's another thing too.
That's hilarious.
A junk load. Chris is a huge supporter of the channel too. We're gonna do something together. Brilliant designer, does a lot of like map designs, but also merch. Beautiful
Mm.
Cardano merch. Actually, if you guys want to check out merch, follow Chris Williams. Chris, can you throw your Twitter in the live chat so people can check out the merch designs that you did? He's a really good artist, and so you're gonna want to check that out. But I actually, all of my ADA is staked with Tim One, and so I haven't been able to participate in any of these yet. Agilely says Indigo James. Very cool. I
Mm.
think that's what you said too, J Crypto. So very good. Good job.
Oh, sweet. Agilely.
Yep.
Agilely. Okay. Yeah.
So I haven't been able to participate yet, but I really want to get into it. I think starting in June, when SIP 33 comes out, I'm gonna have to carve out a few ADA to check this out. For right now, it's all locked into the stake pool, of course.
Mm.
But just a heads up that like even if you didn't participate in the liquidity bootstrapping event and you don't have per ADA, don't worry. Like the full yield farming is kicking off March 14th, and this is independent of the liquidity bootstrapping event. I mean, we'll be able to participate. I think there'll be other ways to get LP tokens, and so um, even if you're not part of the LBE, you're going to want to know about what's happening here on Monday. So yeah.
No, I think that's really good to bring that up, Timmy, because there are a lot of people probably with Parada that might forget. So it's good to remind because why else do it?
Yeah.
If you forget, it'd be a shame. So I think people will appreciate that. Maybe the one or two that see this post live, or even 10 potentially post live, depends on how many. Once we get a killer thumbnail, which I'll decide after the show, to illustrate what we talked about here today. But I thought it was a pretty good show. I like this kind of DeFi at the end. We might do DeFi at the beginning sometimes too. As we're gearing up here, I think it's an important one. Other than that, metaverse and NFT will probably be something that we talk about in perpetuity. Yeah, there's not really too much else besides those genres, right? It's kind of
Yeah,
like
like so there's a DeFi cycle, and then there could be a gaming cycle. And so sometimes
Mm,
gaming and NFTs overlap, but and metaverses, like they're all kind of siblings. But I think we could see a PvE gaming cycle, maybe a shorter one, and then back to NFTs and metaverse. And like you could potentially imagine us splitting those three. Like we could be focused, like Cardano's community could be focused on DeFi for the next 5 months, and then do like a month of PVE games, a month of profile photos, and then I think like December, January, February, there's going to be a lot of metaverse stuff happening because these projects have had a long time to build.
You know what's
Yeah.
interesting too about Indigo is I believe that they've partnered with Metadams.
Oh,
So that might be something that we see in the next couple months here is like an Indigo studio in the metaverse of Metadams in their
yeah.
central plaza. That'd be really fun to adventure into and see what they decide to do there and what's going to be there, or at least they collab with Metadams. Yeah, so Indigo James says that is verified. It's true. So that's gonna be awesome to he says, "Shh," so he doesn't wanna say, but that's some alpha for anybody that, watches, I guess. But it will be fun to see what happens for sure. I think I saw
Very
it on
cool.
Dam's website. We just don't know what they're gonna do yet, so that'll be really fun to see.
I'd love to respond to a couple things I saw in the chat if I can, just super quickly.
Yeah.
One thing is this was from Chris. I was talking about his merch, and I'll zoom in on a couple of these. This is a Cardano shirt that he made. The more you try to suppress Cardano, the more obvious its need becomes. And so this is a comment on all of the FUD that we've been seeing. He's got kind of Cardano here taking over the world, right? The world in the background. I normally would go for the black. I like the black shirts, but I actually found the white one looks super fly here.
I
I
like
just
the
find
white one too. Looks
yeah, the
dope.
colors pop really, really nice. And J Crypto, I know you've kind of been going to the gym lately. Maybe you
Just
could kind of
once in the
just
last
once.
year, I was telling Timmy that yesterday I went to the gym for the first time in 20 years, and I'm feeling really sore because of it. But yeah, I'll probably have to go up a size if my muscles keep growing. You're right. So
Wow. And then the other comment I wanted to talk about was let me see quickly if I could do it here. Someone was asking about the just a sec. about the pool and when we're gonna do our giveaway. Yeah, I won't be able to do it right now, but what I'll say is, in Monday's episode, I'm going to be talking about a new vending machine. It's actually a competitor to Drip Drops, it's like a different version of Drip Drops, for single
Oh, wow.
pools.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah,
That's kinda
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's pretty cool. It was done by Seal Pool, and we were accepted into that. Tim One was accepted into that last weekend, and then since then, so yeah, so thank you. And as a result, all of the Tim One delegators are going to be able to get a ton of tokens. Like there's Hosky tokens, there's like
Wow.
10 different token projects that you're all going to get for free. But then also we have a special partnership with the Coke token, COC, which stands for like confidence and optimism. And like it's basically trying to fight FUD. And we have a special partnership with them. Yeah, it's like a tap house, it's like a vending machine. To give 100 million Coke tokens every epoch. It's huge. You're going to be able to get tons of Coke from the Tim One Stake Pool, and it's here's a little bit of alpha. This happened last night at 3 a.m. I was contacted by a CNFT superstar named Nito. A lot of you guys know Nito. He's a big CNFT musician.
Hmm.
And we have an exclusive deal right now to give Nito token. He has his own token to the Tim One Stake Pool delegators. And so there's going to be every epoch you're going to be able to get free Nito tokens. Right now they're on Muesli Swap, and so you can trade them for ADA, on Muesli Swap right away. And so Nito token, Coke token, and about 10 or 12 other tokens as part of this vending machine. Coming to the Tim One delegators. So just a quick heads up on that. I'm going to do a story on Monday explaining that.
Cool.
End of my shill. Thank you, Jay Crypto, for bearing. There was a question though, and I didn't pay for the question. There was a question in the chat, so that's where that came from.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think that that's probably it for this episode of the Gauntlet. I guess what we'd love to see too from you guys is just more feedback. The community has been awesome. We've done a few segments here. We've talked about a few things, and we just would love to hear the feedback not only on the projects that we covered, but also on what trends and things you would also like us to maybe add into this show, or just different variety of stuff. I think a lot of the feedback we've gotten is really good, which is awesome, and we appreciate it and we're thankful. There's been a lot of people who said that they can't tune into the lives, but they'll watch post production. I've noticed that as a lot. But yeah, the constructive criticism is just as valuable, if not more, too, sometimes, to let me and Timmy just hear it and think about it. So just let us know if you guys would have some kind of suggestion that you would like to see us do, even if it's something as simple as maybe clipping parts of our show and post producing them, or I don't know, just whatever you guys think. We'd appreciate hearing how you'd be better off with it. We do put the timestamps after the live stream in the show, so you should be able to skip into the sections that you're most interested in. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, Timmy. Anything that you want to say before we shut down today?
No, I think it's beautiful. I like that you're kind of bringing in the community and trying to get their feedback. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
just kind of underline that. And yeah, thank you for like walking us through Indigo today, J Crypto. That's not an easy one. Like synthetics are quite technical, and so I feel like I learned a lot on the live stream today as well. So I want to take a minute here and just kind of thank you for that.
Yeah, no, Timmy. I mean, me and Timmy, Mr. Beast too, from like the biggest YouTuber in the galaxy. He said this on a podcast I was listening to, that when his content became really good was when he started to talk to other YouTubers
Oh,
and they
wow.
started to do content together. So I think me and Timmy's content will only improve by working together, and we're both learning things from each other. So same could be said to you, my friend, my virtual cat friend.
There you
Um,
go. And actually, we would like to get some other people on here. Maybe Chronic One. We've talked about maybe Jack, maybe Cardano Pete. I think we should do that, J Crypto. We should try and get some of these other creators and people in the CNFT space to join us on a couple live streams.
hmm.
Tim One, get free shipping on shirts. Well, that would be huge if we can actually do that, Chris. We should talk about that. Hold on, that's some. This is the first time I'm hearing about that, but that's huge if we can pull that off. We might have to do something very cool. And so Yeah, I was just saying we should maybe get some other people from the community. Maybe Chris can come on the show one day, or Kami, or like, we'd love to have you on here if anyone's not too shy. Get Charles on here. Yeah, of course. Like
one day.
that's what we're working towards. I think I want to get a few of my technical difficulties sorted out. I'm not a big fan of my audio yet. The voice I think doesn't come through. But yeah, we should get Charles
Oh,
on, and
dude,
then
while we're
maybe
having this little like behind the scenes chat, Timmy, one thing I was thinking was to get like people on for certain segments. So you know how like in news stations they do like, oh, let's pass, me and you would be the opener, and kind of the controllers of the thing. But then we could say, oh, let's get weather by Cynthia, or latest NFT, the rankings of NFT by Joe Schmo or Chronic, right? and
Yep.
and kind of do it that way too would be fun to have like other content creators bring something of value to the audience of the Gauntlet, but also get a chance to just come to the Gauntlet and be part of our show as well. I think that then we become like more of like a Cardano news network, right? That's your ecosystem news. That's their
Yeah.
channel. So
More of a news network. I love this idea. We should work towards getting Charles, but maybe we should practice with Mr. Beast first. Just have a smaller stream. Let's do like a Mr. Beast practice. Give him some exposure. A lot of people might not know about Mr. Beast, so I'd love to help him out. And then do
Mr.
Charles
Beast is
after
the
that.
goat. Like he really is, man. He's so good. So, you know who sounds like Mr. Beast, and we could probably like put a Mr. Beast graphic, and we'd be fine, and people might believe it. Is Subcritical. His voice kind of sounds like Mr. Beast if you've ever listened to him. But he might be a fun guy to get on too,
Nice.
as well. But yeah, no,
Nice.
Charles after the actual Mr. Beast is a good play.
Yep.
So,
After Rogan. Gogan, then Rogan, is what, as Charles used to say.
and then we got some compliments to the virtual cat as well from Acronym DAO.
I love that. Thank you. Much love. Really appreciate that. Love for Subcritical. Well, we're right at the 2-hour mark. So why
Yeah,
don't we call it here? And Jay Crypto and I will start getting ready for next week's episode. Start talking about the agenda.
lots
Sure,
of
I'm
love
also
for Subcritical though. We'll tag him in Twitter. But all right,
let's get Nikki
guys.
on too. Nikki's been a big help. Whatever we can do. If you guys have projects too, like we'd love to give some exposure and help support your projects. Kami Coin, I want to see Kami actually develop a coin. It's right there in his name, and once he does, I'd love to promote that and whatever Nikki does as well.
Thanks,
Thank you,
James.
James.
We love you.
Thanks, James.
We
All
love
right.
you guys. We love everybody.
Have
All
a great
right.
weekend.
That's
Bye
JK.
now.
That's Timmy. We're out. Take care.
Meow.